Yes,
And we live.
sir. Yes,
Yo, yo,
sir.
yo. This is your boy Bronze, and you are watching and listening to the Niners All Day Show. I got my boy Dre with me. What up, Dre?
Yes, sir. What's going on? It's gonna be a good day.
Another day.
It's gonna be a good day today, man.
Man,
Man, we appreciate everybody for tapping in with us, man. Go ahead and like and subscribe to Niners All Day. Follow Bronze on Twitter. Follow Fran 49er on Twitter, which is myself. We got two special guests coming in today, man. I worked to get these guys, man, these last couple of days. Our first guest, you guys probably know him from Nothing But Niners. My boy Mike, man, what's going on?
What's going on, man? How y'all doing, fellas?
Oh
really
man,
good.
we
Sunday.
good, bro. We happy to have you on, bro. We happy to have you on, man. Go ahead and let the people know, man, how long you've been doing 49ers content, where are you from, and all of that good stuff.
I started covering the team back in like 2010, 2011. I believe it was Harbaugh's first year, the end of Singletary, beginning of Harbaugh. I was doing 49ers Gab. I was doing podcasts, writing for them, Facebook and stuff. And then we started Nothing But Niners. Nick hit me up and wanted to do something. And I was thinking he wanted me to help him with something. He actually wanted me to like leave what I was doing and go over there. He had been pushing and pushing. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. And finally, I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. We kicked it off. Our first show was all about the draft. That was what we did it for the new regime with Lynch and Shanahan. So it's kind of weird. I started with the new regime with Harbaugh, and I started with the new regime over here on this side. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, we Nothing But Niners, man. This is starting our fourth season now. So
Yeah, man. And people think that it's easy to build a platform, and it's not easy building a platform, guys. We want to specifically let you guys know that it is very hard for people to get your time. Like, time is the only thing that you can't get back in life, and it's hard for even if you get 200 or 300 views on a video, man, you might not get all of those people to subscribe. So it's been a great thing to watch Nothing But Niners, just elevate. You know what I'm saying? There's a video that Nothing But Niners did. I think it was sometime during the last season. And Mike was talking about how it was hard for them to get 100 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I first started watching Nothing But Niners, it was about 4,000 subscribers. Now they're all the way up to basically close to 10K, man. So it's been beautiful to watch that evolution, man.
Yeah. I remember watching you guys on, you guys were using Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
yeah, that was a man. Oh man.
See, I've been watching. I've been, follower.
Yeah. So if anybody knows, us on Twitter, bro, me and Mike constantly go back and forth about Akello Witherspoon. And Akello's this guy. Like, I think for Mike, Akello is like my Kendrick, right? Like, everybody knows I go hard in the paint for Kendrick, right? And so instead of going back and forth with Mike, trying to make him see my point of view, or me trying to make him see me, vice versa. I wanted to bring Mike on so he can explain to people why exactly that he goes hard in the paint for Akello and why he believes in his skill set so much. Because I think it's better for us as fans to have an understanding instead of always going back and forth. I think it's better to come together and have an understanding as to why we support certain players.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna break all of that down, man. I want to apologize about I'm outside with the kids.
No, bro, it's all good. You ain't gotta mute nothing. You with the family. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, bro.
No, I don't want y'all. I stopped the music. I don't want y'all to get flagged because the music.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm not gonna apologize for the kids having fun, but the music.
Right, exactly. Okay.
But so when you look at Akello, man, there's a couple of reasons why I like this kid, right? And he has flashed greatness, not just good. Like, I'm talking greatness. He has flashed it. You watch him those first 3 games of the season. He looked like the best corner in the league. Not just he was on point. He was making plays, PBUs. He was getting his head around. He was doing these trail techniques that I thought were crazy. Like, it looked like he was letting the DB get past him, and he would stay right behind the guy, and he's never looking back for the ball. And then when the DB turned his head, that's when he would put his hand out to feel the guy, look back, and then boom, he would break it up. Like, and he was doing it so consistently. I was like he's doing this on purpose. It's not. This isn't him. Like he's letting these guys get that way. It's a technique
Right, he was
that
baiting them.
right. And so I'm not the technician guy. I don't know what it's called. I'm not gonna tell you it's a trail technique or whatever. I'm watching to see who's good and who's consistent, right? He doesn't need to be told where to line up. He doesn't. He's assignment type every time. Even when he was having his bad moments, right? He was still assignment type. He was there. He was just getting beat on plays. You know what I'm saying? And so when I'm looking at the potential, and I know it's a dangerous word in the league, right? You don't want to enough potential, right? Let's get some results, right? I've seen results, and I've seen him digress, and now is it correctable? And his errors are the most correctable of any other corner on the team. Richard Sherman's going to get beat deep a lot this year, right? That's not correctable. They're just going to target Richard Sherman, right? You have another guy in Emmanuel Mosely. Mosely is good, and Mosley's issues are correctable also, but his is more mental. It's assignments, blown coverages, and things like that. He's out of place. With Akello, he's so good and so assignment tight that he'll try to play someone else's guy. Like, my guy's already taken out of this play. He sees the ball going somewhere else. He wants to run across the field, and then it's a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? It's a touchdown, and people saying that's on Akello. He gave up that. No, that wasn't his guy.
Nah, that touchdown in the Saints game where he actually did us a favor. Now, he caught the touchdown, but, he knocked him out the game, and we were having problems trying to guard that guy. You know what I'm saying? That tight end was eating us alive. He was on his man, and he turned at a split second, and he hit him, and even though he caught the ball, he knocked him out of the game. So they marked it as him giving up a touchdown, but it actually was not his guy to be covered. It was Marcel Harris. Kwaski Tart was out that game. So those are things that we can go back to as fans, and we could take a look at and say, okay, if you break the film down, that exactly was not his guy.
And then, also something else on that play. I really wish Shanahan would have challenged it, or the league would have reviewed it, but he dropped that ball. That ball, he didn't hold on to that ball. Yeah, man. That should not have been a touchdown. That ball hit the ground. If you guys go back and watch that play, that ball hit the ground. Akello jarred the ball loose and knocked him out of the game. But it's cool. Yeah. Can't cry over spilled milk. And I thought all touchdowns supposed to be reviewed and all that stuff. I guess it wasn't enough. I don't know what the new touchdown catch rules are anymore, so maybe it's a change in the rules. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah. And then there's more reasons why I like Akello. I can get into some of that too. Some information that I was privy to.
Yeah, man, we want all of that. Yeah, most definitely.
So we had was the DJ Reed? I think we had DJ Reed on our show earlier, maybe earlier in the month, late last month, something like that.
Yeah,
and he was talking about how what they're doing right now is like reviewing the film from last year. They're going over the bad films. They're going over all the plays that they were out of place or something was wrong or they did something wrong, right? And every player gets their own film from the team. The team looks at it. They say this is where you were wrong, right? Akello Witherspoon was only given 4 plays all year. Only 4. That's from the team. That's not him saying these are the plays I think I did bad on. They sent him 4. That's it. So that's telling me something. There's a reason why every time Akello's healthy again, they put him back in there, and then they snatch him and put Mosely back in there. There's a reason. He's good. He's got to get it together. He's right there. 4 plays all year. Now I understand he missed some time and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, that boy is good, man.
Wow. That's amazing, bro. I did not know that, bro. Yeah, man. And this is exactly why we wanted to do this, man, so we could get some more understanding as to, why Akello Witherspoon is supposed to be supported and why people just shouldn't give up on him. And I can't lie. I was one of those dudes just like, get him out of here. Don't want him. I think Mosely should start over him. And this is why I wanted to get some more understanding as to why he's supported and why he should be supported as a 49er fan.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just so frustrating, because I want to root for him, and I am rooting for him. And when he was drafted, I was like, okay, yeah, this is the guy. Because I was listening to I forgot which other podcast, but they had one guy that was part of PFF, and they rated Witherspoon pretty high, and so I was like, okay, I heard about Witherspoon. He's gonna be solid and stuff. And then Yeah, and then he got those couple blown plays, and it just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it definitely seems like with the Kello, one play could literally determine 4 games, right? Like he'll have one bad play, and then his play would stoop to an all-time low over a period of like 3 or 4 games. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that's most frustrating for me. Like I want to see him have one bad game and come back. That's what I love about Sherm. Sherm is like, okay, I had a bad game, or I had a few bad plays. So what? It's part of football. Boom. Come back, you know what I'm saying, and come back with a vengeance and do what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I really want to see from Akello.
It's super frustrating, and it's someone I'm always championing. I'm always championing for him, and it's so frustrating to see that happen. And I'm not going to make any excuses. I haven't heard anything about an injury or anything like that. I know he was different after he got hurt in that Steelers game. I know that he came back a little different, but I've never heard him make excuses. The people I've talked to, he's never held that against anybody. You know what I mean? And his attitude also on the sidelines is really, really good. I know we remember that when they pulled him out, he was like, "Hey, let me get Mosely snaps on special teams."
Yeah, special team
right?
snaps.
There were even in another game, there was a big play that he gave up, and he fell. Now, they won't openly say that, but there was supposed to be safety help right there, and that's why he turned. I don't know if you guys remember that play. He turned real weird, and then he turned back, and that's when he fell. Right?
Yeah.
When they benched him right after that. He's on, the sidelines joking with Jimmy Ward. Yo, dog, like you might have just cost me my job. It's cool. I'll bounce back. I'm gonna bounce back. But like he's joking about it. You know what I'm saying? He's not tight. He's not upset about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's in there and he's talking to Mosely and he's on the sidelines telling him, when you do this, you got to do that. Watch this and watch that. This is gonna tell you what he's like coaching this young man up. And so he's got the attitude. He's got the ability. He's definitely that's the thing.
He definitely has the physical ability.
Yeah.
He definitely has the physical ability.
Right. If he didn't have that, then it'd be easy for me to be like, all right, the team needs to move on. Like this guy is costing us too much, whatever. When you see it and you know it's something that he can do consistently, then like that's what gets my hopes up. And he's flashed so much. I'm like, all right, man, like this is the year. You got to do it this year, right here, right now.
Right.
I also think that the presence of Jason Verrett really, really motivated him in the offseason. I feel like a lot of people felt, and maybe he thought this, that when they signed Verrett, he was coming for his spot.
Right.
So it forced him to work harder, right? And check this out. So he gets injured in that Steelers game. And again, he was playing lights out all year long. That Tampa Bay game, they put up but he was playing lights out. That Tampa Bay game, he only gave up 3 passes for 17 yards. You know what I mean?
He was going up against Mike Evans. He was locking him down.
Yeah. And then he gets injured. They put in Verrett, right? Verrett gets burned bad. And they bench Verrett right away.
Gets burned for a touchdown. And then after that, we get back on defense and he gets a penalty because he was about to get burnt. And they sit him down for the rest of the season. And he just wasn't ready, bro. He just wasn't ready.
After that is when the inconsistencies again started with Akello Witherspoon. I'm wondering if it was like a mental thing, like the motivation maybe died a little bit. Like, oh, that guy can't get my job. They saw him out there already. They don't want to put him back out there. You get what I'm saying? I just don't know. But
right.
I see some.
And go ahead, bro. My bad.
I'm sorry. I see some videos of him, like coming back to week 13. There's a little bit of some hesitancy when he was playing. I mean, he was playing it right, but then I don't know. When I was saying earlier to Trey about when that late fourth quarter game against Seattle when he was supposed to press up on Metcalf, he just let Metcalf just run on by him. It was all, the game is on the line. So to me, this is the big question with Witherspoon. There's no doubt about he has the talent, but can he be trusted? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, do you trust him or Mosely more when the game is on the line?
Right.
I think that's the question.
And another thing we talked about was it takes, I think to overcome injuries, it takes at least like a 4-year veteran, bro. Like young guys, it takes them a while to know how to work through injuries, how to rehab, and how to come back 100%, right? Because you have to know your body top to bottom. And I think young guys, it's a little bit harder for them to work through injuries. And maybe he didn't have the confidence to plant on that foot due to, man, I'm trying to stay healthy. You know, we're having a great season. If I plant on my foot this way, the same way I did against the Steelers, maybe I re-injure my foot. Maybe that was a part of the mental where he said, man, I just want to stay healthy. I want to make it through this season because it looks like we're going to make a run. I do not want to plant on my foot and be out for the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl.
If that's the case, then sit down. Like if you gotta be confident, especially at that position. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't accept excuses like that from anybody. No, Niner.
Yeah.
Get over here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my dog trying to chase a cat.
No, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
But come here. Look at him. What's up, Poppy? Come here. Good boy. But yeah, so it's
Niner.
There you go.
You got to get you got to get over it though. You know, if you're going to be out there, you're out there 100% or nothing. You know what I mean? Like no one's playing 100%. You can't play with fear of re-injuring yourself. Look at Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward would never play football again if that was the case. That man's been injured.
Right.
You know, like he's missing class, but you know, you got to go out there and play. Or Eric Armstead, another guy with a ton of potential. And people are also forgetting these guys how young they are. Like they're still going through growth.
They're young. Yeah, bro. They're young still. 24, 23, 25, 26. You know, I think Jimmy's only like 28. Like these guys aren't, you know what I'm saying? They're not old guys, man. They still got a nice stretch of a youth that comes along with them and being on the team, man. So I think that's really important, man. So, you know, now people understand why, you know, Mike, you know, supports Witherspoon, and he actually flip-flopped me a little bit. And, you know, I'm going to go back to watching some game film and look at the all 22, man, and break down Akello a little more so I could come to a better understanding, you know, as to why he should be supported as a 49er. Because, you know, if I don't give a damn who it is, bro. If you could come back and you could have a bounce back season, it's going to make the Niners even better. You know what I'm saying? And if he comes back and he has that bounce back season to where we could say, okay, we don't have to give Sherm, you know, 10, 11 million a year, and, you know, we could run with the Kello, man, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
I'm all for it. Yeah, man, because, you know, we were also looking at Bronze. Go ahead and share that screen, man.
Alrighty.
So, you know, Niners Nation, they came out with a top 10 free agency list, right? And so I went and I looked and I was like, how many free agents do we have? We have 39 free agents next year, bro. That is a big list. If you could see this, can you see this list pretty good?
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm looking at players like Joe Walker, Sean Coleman, Willie Henry, Jake Brendel, Leonard Wester, Derek Kendrick, Jalen Tabor. Like, there's a lot of guys on this list. Daniel Helm. You know, there's a lot of guys on this list that, you know, could be let go. But I just wanted to know if you could go through this list, who, starting from the top, go all the way to the top, Bronze. So from the top of this list, bro, who would you keep and who would you let go?
All right. So this list is also why the Niners are projected to have over $60 million of cap space next year, because all of this is walking out. So it's not on the book. So it's definitely feasible. It's something that you could do. I'm gonna start with Trent Williams. Obviously, if you want to get a deal with him, you got to bring him back. I think that they're working on something. You could tell by the way they restructured the deal and gave him upfront money. So I think that they're working on something still. I wouldn't be surprised if we heard something there. Richard Sherman.
I know, bro. I'm with you all the way. I
want to see how he plays this year. I really want to see how he plays this year. And so I know that's not fair to him. I know it's not, I'm not giving you a straight answer, but I really want to see how he plays this year. I think teams are going to test him a lot more. And I think that we might, as a collective, be like, maybe it's time to move on. It's okay, Mom. It's okay, baby. All right. I'm sorry. Solomon Thomas.
Okay.
Bye. Jaquaski Tart.
Bye.
I don't know. I feel like he's good when he's out there. I feel like he's good when he's out there, but
yeah, he is pretty good. You think Moore can step in for him? For Various Moore?
Tavarius Moore plays like Emmanuel Mosley. He'll make a phenomenal play, and then he'll just be lost later on. And so it's about getting the consistency.
He needs more seasoning. Yeah.
Right. And so
seasoning.
He's definitely able. He is 100% able. We've seen him flash it, right? It's just got to be consistent. So, I mean, I guess that makes Tart expendable. So buy Tart. Juke, buy. Robbie Gold, buy.
Hold up, bro. Hold it. Did you just say Juice buy?
Yeah. Kyle Juszczyk. Yeah.
Oh, bro, but who's gonna replace him?
I don't know. That's not my job to figure. Listen, man. All right, I tell you what. If they brought him back at a better salary, then that's cool. But there's no reason this guy should be making starting running back money. He just shouldn't. He shouldn't. Right. For his 23 catches a year and being a lead blocker, that's what he's getting paid. That is crazy that he's getting that much money. He's literally getting more than Tevin Coleman. Look at the list. It's right there. Why?
Yeah.
Why is he getting paid so much? And I do hold that against.
Did you see how stagnant our offense looked without him? Like our offense, to me, it looked worse without Juice than it did without Kittle. Because without Kittle in the Seattle game, we had 6 drop passes for a total of 103 yards that one game, right? Yeah. So it wasn't like our offense wasn't moving, right? But without Juice, everything was just a stalemate. It was like Jimmy had to put us on his back and just make shit happen.
But can Juice be replaced as a fullback? That's the question people got to answer. And I think that the team picked up somebody this year that I think they're going to try to move the fullback. But that's on me. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. Those are my personal.
So Josh Holkett or Chase Harrell? Like which of the guys? Hold on, Chase Harrell. Okay, so Chase Harrell, I believe he's 6'4". Hold on, let me look this up, bro.
He's a big dude. He's huge.
But he runs a 4.5 though.
He's got some decent.
He runs a 4.5.
Dang, that's pretty fast.
Yeah. So Chase Harrell, I'm looking up his size right now, and he's 6'4", 249. So he's basically the same size as Juice, except Juice is like a few inches shorter. I think Juice is like 6'1", so he's like a few inches shorter. 6'2". Right. Okay. So, all right. So you got Trent, Sherman, maybe Solomon Thomas, a no. Jaquaski Tart, bye, and Juice, bye. Robbie Gold. Now this is what's confusing. Ooh. All right.
40.
But did we sign him to a 4-year contract? I think he shouldn't be on this list because we signed him to 4 years. I think it was 4 years, 19. And
what's
he's
the
still
CO
on
for?
this list. I don't.
What's this under the stats? The CO is that like is it an option, contract option or something like that?
Contract option. So we have the right after this season to pick up that $4.7 million.
I would let him go though. That's me personally. He's a kicker, man. And I said a bold prediction on our show a couple nights ago where I think that he's going to lead the team in scoring. I think we're going to be kicking a lot of field goals, and so I think he's going to be like an MVP type of guy. But he's a kicker. He's a kicker.
But why do you think that we'll be kicking a lot more field goals this year?
It doesn't mean that the offense is going to be worse. I just see us punting a lot less. I think that a bad drive for us is going to end with 3 points is what I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Okay.
You know, maybe we struggle in the red zone or something. I don't know. Hopefully they don't. But, you know, what's the running back situation? You're like, who's that thumper, right? So we get all the way down there. We can't do anything. Here comes Robbie Gold, you know. But he's every year he's getting worse and worse as far as distance goes. And he came back good from his injury. I will say that he shut me up. I was hating on him for the first weeks.
He did.
I hated him that he pulled out, held that against him and all that. And he came in, he was trash. I was ready to move on from him. And then he came back, and man, he came back. That boy was on fire. So it's not that he can't do it, but the problem is that he's missing 55 yards, 56 yards, 57. Like he's not getting that back. You're not getting that strength back.
You're not getting that. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So Solomon going, Kwaski going, Juice going, Robbie going, Tevin Coleman. I kind of already know what you're going to say with Tevin. Like,
he can go. He can go also.
Yeah.
He don't.
Hey, bro. Damn, bro. Mike is a hard GM, bro. Okay, so all right. It's KB. You know, the
Bring him back.
26-year-old young man.
All right, so I don't think they're going to bring him back only because I think he's going to get a bigger contract. So it's not that they don't like him. He is definitely he is worth bringing back for sure. I think he's going to get that bag though. I think he's going to, if they don't extend him,
he'll get that bag. Yeah,
he's getting traded and going to get the bag. That's what I think.
Okay, so Kendrick might not come back. Damn. Okay, so K1.
This is a tough one for me. When he's on fire. But that Seattle Seahawks game, man, he was getting eat up. But that was one game. He honestly plays like the best nickel in the league.
Do you know that he accounted for 6 turnovers? He counted for 6 turnovers, bro. He had 4 forced fumbles, bro.
Yeah, he's the man.
As a slot,
right?
He's nasty. The Shark is a perfect name for him, bro.
Yeah.
2 interceptions and 4 forced fumbles. That's ridiculous, bro. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Bring him back, man.
Okay,
he's 30, but we got to have somebody. We have to have somebody in the wing waiting to replace him, though. We can't keep banking. Like I say, he's 30 years old.
Who would that be? Would that be DJ Reed?
Maybe.
Well, we have to draft the slot.
Okay, so all right, so we got K1 coming back. Tom Compton.
Bye.
Okay. All right.
Ronald Blair.
Somebody he's in the same boat as Kendrick Bourne. The team wants him, but he's gonna get that bag, man, especially if he has a year like he started last year. You know what I'm saying? Like when he finished off, he was playing really, really well, man. And
you guys see his video?
Yeah,
he's running and cutting.
Yeah, he's running and cutting.
Yeah,
he's chasing the bag, man. I hope they bring him back.
He's chasing the bag. Me too. All right, Ben Garland.
He's got to go.
You don't like Ben Garland?
No. I do like him. But I think he might push. What's his name for that starting position? Well, Weston Richburg. I really do like it, but I'm looking at his age, and I think that they're just going to move on from him. Maybe give him like a 1 or 2 year deal if they decide to keep him.
Okay.
I like Ben Garland.
Okay. All right. Kerry Hyder.
Nah.
Jerick McKinnon.
You're gonna make me say this. I tell you what. He's going to be on my TBD list. I have to see how he does this year. There's a reason Shanahan likes this guy so much, and I got to know what it is. Right. I got to know what it is. So I want to see how he plays this year, and I think he's been paid enough money. He's been paid enough money where we should get some results. We need some return on investment, some ROI. So let's run him into the ground this year, and then see what he can do, and then bring him back if he's good. You know.
Right. Travis Benjamin.
Oh, real quick, it's funny. My boy texted me about an Instagram article of Jerick McKinnon, you know, quote saying like he's in his best shape of his life. And I was just like, bro, you know, like in every off season, that's what they say, bro. Like, not to just what you're getting hype off of. I was like, bro, that's what they say every season. Everybody's in their best.
Literally right. Yeah. All right. So Travis.
If that injury is healed, right? That injury is 100% healed. He better be in the best shape of his life. He's been sitting on his ass for 2 years. Like, why wouldn't he be in the best shape of his life? So, but yeah, it's just words at this point. We got to see it, man. It's time to show up.
Right.
Okay, Travis Benjamin.
Bye.
Jason Verrett.
Bye.
Akello Witherspoon.
Bye.
Akello?
That's my guy. Listen to me. That's my guy.
Mike ain't no joke, bro. Holy shit.
Talking about him.
I want him back. But he's going to get paid. And I know that there's already one defensive coordinator that's interested in him already. It's the guy who just left us.
Right.
All right. Y'all got to remember that Woods left. He's a DC over there. And he knows how good Akello is. He knows how good Akello is. Akello's going to get it back, man.
Yeah,
our DBs are running thin now.
The Marcus Askew, man, that dude's 6'3", 215 pounds, and he's a mauler. So he might be a guy that's going to be an undrafted free agent, man. He might be one of those guys that like Mosely that just comes out in balls. So that's what I'm hoping for. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's move on. Sean Coleman.
I don't know. I can't call it with him, man. I wasn't he was a swing tackle. If you can get him cheap, bring him back. But we got to see these guys work.
Yeah, this your Jersey boy. This Dante Johnson.
Bring him back, baby. Bring him back because he's going to be the cheapest of all the corners or anybody in the secondary that we can keep. So I say bring him back at least for depth.
Okay, and this next guy is somebody that I watched at University of Oregon. He was a stud at Oregon. He was in every freaking play against the Cardinals. It seemed like he was on every tackle. This is Joe Walker. We just signed him.
You just signed him. He took a first-round draft pick's job. This dude is a worker, bro. I'm excited to see him. Bring him back for some depth if he's
Let's
good.
Let's go. Okay. CJ Beathard, I already know what you're going to say, bro.
Bye.
Get the hell out.
Yes,
Willie Henry. We don't know. I think he might be like a practice squad guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure who he is, so I can't speak on. I'll just say bye.
Okay. Jake Brindale, corner. No, center.
Same thing.
Bye. All right. Leonard Wester, tackle.
Bye.
Derek Kindred.
Safety. No, bye.
All right. Ross DeWelly. I like DeWelly, bro. I like him. Hey, one thing that I continuously heard from camp, not this season, but because camp hasn't came this season, but last season, the dude was unguardable. That's what I continue to hear. Like, this dude is slippery, and he does not drop passes.
And Grant Cohn was pounding the table for him, but I mean, did he look that special when he got in?
No, I mean, besides for the Arizona Cardinals game where he had the 2 touchdowns, I mean,
right.
to come in and fill in for 4 games for Juice and we only lost 1, I think that was like, a notch on his resume to say, well, at least he's diverse, man. So.
Man, he didn't really mess up, right? I mean, that's the important thing. He didn't mess up. I mean,
right?
Yeah, he didn't. No. So
right,
DeWelly back. All right, keep DeWelly. All right, Jeffrey Wilson Jr.
I would like to see him get more of an opportunity. Bring him back. Bring him back.
Nick Mullins.
Bye. Yeah, goodbye. Listen, if you can get something for him, trade him right now. If you can get something for him now, trade him right now. You're not getting anything from CJ Beathard. And Nick Mullins, listen, a backup quarterback is cool, right? They say that you're always one play away from getting in there and all that. But if we're depending on a backup quarterback, the season's already going to be over. Let him go. Get something for him. Right. Let him go. Go ahead and develop my guy that we picked up, Brock Rudder, and let him be the backup.
Okay. All right. Jalen Tabor.
Nothing.
I don't even know who the hell that is. I know who Tease Tabor is, but I don't know who Jalen is. So
right.
All right. Daniel Brunskill.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
Got to.
Young guy.
I mean, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. We have to have him. Emmanuel Mosley.
Bring him back.
George.
Yeah.
Bring him back. We already know it.
Yeah. You bring back Kittle also.
Trent Taylor.
Bye. So what? For what? What are we bringing him back for, bro? What are we bringing him back for?
Bro,
people gonna hate me after the show. You should have never asked me to do this. People gonna hate me after the show, man.
Well, it's true. Like
honesty.
He's hurt. He's been hurt. So, but when he was playing, man, back in 2017, that was
to go along with the stories from the previous season. They were saying that he was the best wide receiver in camp last year. Now, this is from people that I trust. I trust their eyes. I trust what they're saying. So, I mean, if he's showing something, cool. Show us though.
Yeah. I know that's what JD was saying. JD said hands down he was the best guy in camp. Hands down. And I trust what JD says, and you know what I'm saying. So hey, it is what it is, though, man. If he got to go,
but what's this injury is kind of serious for a wide receiver, right? So he's got to get it back together, man. He's got to get it. You can't just give him a roster spot because we like him.
And what's so messed up is it was like a fluke. Like the doctors, they didn't know that his body was not going to react to metals. Like they had to make a special non-perishable screw to put in his foot. And that's what's so messed up about it. It was like, it's like a once in a lifetime thing where somebody's body does not react to certain metals. They put 4 different screws in his body and they realized that his body's not going to react to metal. They had to make a special screw for his foot and put it in there.
Yeah,
so,
man.
You know, that's what really sucks about that.
My prediction is, if we re-sign him, we'll get him on a cheap because he's been injured so much.
I think
we'll get a good deal. We'll get a discount.
Yeah. All right. So DJ Jones,
bring him back. That man deserves a big check.
Bring him back. Yes, sir. Okay, Marcel Harris.
All right. So I'm gonna. You have to pick him or Tart. I feel like you got to decide between him or Tart. So you can't let both of these guys get away. You got to have somebody with some familiarity at the safety position. I
like Marcel. I ain't even gonna lie. I like him. He shows so much potential and talent. Like he's a playmaker, especially up in the box. When he's playing the run, he's lights out. He makes good plays on pass protection, and then he makes like 2 or 3 bad ones. But I just like his potential, bro. Like I really hope he gets it together because it would be beautiful just to bring him back for like $6 or $7 million and let Jaquaski Tart walk and have somebody that's valuable at that position.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Daniel Helm.
Bye.
Whoop. Kevin Givens.
That's my guy, man. He was really good in preseason, but for whatever reason, he didn't do a whole lot. They were hesitant to call him up, so I don't know what they see. But I would like to bring him back. Especially if he has a good preseason or offseason this year.
Okay. All right. Bronze. Bring up that Niners Nation top 10 free agent article. And I just want Mike to look at this list and see if you actually agree with this. Because they didn't have who didn't they have? They didn't have Brunskill on there, who was a big part. They didn't have Garland, who was a big part. On there. There was a few players that was not on this list that I don't necessarily agree with. They even had Trent Taylor on this list. All right, so scroll down. All
right, never mind.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. So number 1 is Richard Sherman. Number 2 is Trent Williams. Number 3 is Juice. Number 4 is Jaquaski Tart, which I think that K1 should be right there, but that's what they say. Scroll up. DJ Jones at number 5. I can't disagree. Akello at number 6. K1 at number 7. Ronald Blair at number 8. And Trent Taylor at number 9. And Kendrick way down at number 10.
Let me ask you a question. Do we need Kendrick Bourne and Trent Taylor?
No. We don't. It's nice. Like I love it.
I don't get it. I don't understand why people feel like we need both of those guys. To me, it should be one or the other.
Well, okay, so all right, so this is what I'll say. I will say that Kendrick Bourne runs just as good a route as Trent Taylor, but Trent Taylor is faster in and out of his breaks, right? He's more slippier, right? So it's kind of like what we do with the running back room. You bring in Coleman, he gets a 3-4 yard gain, and then you have that switch of speed back like Moser come in, and he gets 15 yards off of that one run. But people don't realize that play was really set up by Coleman.
Right.
Coleman set up a lot of stuff for Breida and for Moser to eat this year. He did. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize how important he was to the offense. He was that guy that was going to get 2, 3, 4 yards of carry, and then you have a switch of speed back coming and they get 15 yards. What it is that defense wasn't prepared for that switch of speed. So Coleman set up that play. And that's how I think Kendrick Bourne and Taylor can play off of each other. You can have that guy who has a long, Kendrick, his stride is extremely long. Kendrick is like every bit of 6'4". I don't think he's like 6'3". I think Kendrick is like 6'4". In person, he's a lot taller than you think he would be. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I think they could use those guys. Have that switch of speed guy. Now, do you think that it could possibly be that they want some insurance? They want Taylor to be able to play, but if he gets injured, we know that Kendrick is Mr. Iron Man. Kendrick is not Kendrick. I searched for this, Mike. I have not seen one play where Kendrick at least gets up limping. I've never seen it. I've never seen it, bro.
He stays healthy.
I've tried to find it. I tried to look up articles. There's not even an article that says, Kendrick Bourne has a lingering injury. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I think he's so important to this offense, man. Because if you put it into perspective, Odell Beckham Jr., he didn't have 5 touchdowns last year. He had 1,000 yards receiving, but he didn't have 5 touchdowns. So you're telling me this dude gets 30, I think got 37 opportunities and he had five touchdowns off those 37 opportunities? That's hard to do.
Yeah. And then not counting his first downs. He's proved that he's reliable. You know what I mean? He's consistent. People wanted to kill him for drops. He only had 3. He only had 3 drops all year. So people wanted to try to kill him on the drops and all that. That's not an excuse anymore. And he was doing what Trent Taylor was doing. He was the guy getting the short yardage, keeping the chains moving. That's why I asked, do you need them both? I understand what you're saying. Switch them up and let them play off of each other. I get that. That makes a lot of sense. But Trent Taylor is confined to the slot. I know he lined up 3 times outside, right? But it was 3 times outside. Bourne moves all over the offense. He's more of a diverse piece. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting list, though. Who was the author of this article?
It was in Niners Nation.
Yeah, can you guys
Kyle
see
Posey. Kyle Posey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's just an article that came up, man, and it kind of sparked the idea. Me and Bronze also, we had a subject that we were talking about. This was weeks back, and this was about 9 times out of 10, Robert Saleh is not going to be back after this season. He's going to be a head coach. And me and Bronze, we both agreed that we think Chris Kasarik is the perfect replacement. Who do you think is the perfect replacement for Robert Saleh, whether it's inside of the organization or it's somebody that comes in? Do you have any idea of somebody that could come in?
What's the guy's name that got fired in Jacksonville? Oh man, damn! I'm drawing a blank. He was the head coach.
Are you talking about Tom Coughlin?
No. Damn, I can't figure it out. There was I think it was a head coach. Or was he the coordinator over there? Was he the defensive coordinator?
Hold on, I think Bronze might be trying to look it up now because I'm trying to remember and I can't remember.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. See this technology.
I'm trying to look for it. Gus Bradley. That's who it was.
Gus Bradley. Okay.
Where is he right now? Is he currently working with somebody? Because if he's available, I think he would be a good replacement for Saleh. They have the same principles. They both come from that Seattle background. So they put their own wrinkles on things. But I'm not.
And was Gus Bradley there when Jacksonville had that nasty ass defense in 2017? Yes. He was there.
Sure. Let me see. Let me pull up his thing here.
Oh wait, details.
Because hey, man, I definitely it's really important that we get somebody that comes in with the same scheme because I hate that fucking 3-4. I can't stand it.
Yeah,
I hate the 3-4 defense. I think it's useless.
Wait, I don't think it's Gus Bradley. Because now I looked at it was showing 2016.
Okay. Yeah, he was a head coach of 2013 to 2016. Yeah, so no, he wasn't there in 2017. Let me see. I'm pulling up his history here. So he was with Seattle from 2009 to 2012. Then he went to Tampa Bay, and then I'm sorry. Then he went to Jacksonville. Oh, he's with the Chargers now. So he's already he's already
taken.
I said San Diego. Good grief.
Hey, we all say that.
I mean, I only got two outside guys. One is obviously Dan Quinn. If he has a bad year this year, I think they're going to cut ties with him, and he would be perfect to bring in. And then another guy is the ultimate NFL OG, they call him. And this is Wade Phillips. I love Wade Phillips, bro.
Yeah,
I fucking love Wade Phillips. He's one of those older guys who just has that knack of being able to relate to the younger guys. And I think that that's really important, especially with our team. I think one of the reasons why we are super, why we just have a good camaraderie and why we have been prosperous is because we have coaches who are at that perfect age range to where they can relate to the guys that are 22, 23, 24, 25. You've heard guys say, man, we came to practice and Kyle was wearing Yeezys. Like that excites the younger guys. You know what I'm saying?
Like, whoa.
And I think that's and I think that that's important, man. I think that Wade Phillips, he is probably fed up with how the Rams are doing things, and he would be perfect to bring in because he also runs a 4-3 scheme, and we've seen what he could do with a dominant front four.
Yeah. I like Wade Phillips a lot, man. I respect him a lot. I'm trying to figure out when you look at the talent on the defense, are we giving him too much credit though anymore? And I really, really like Wade Phillips. I was hoping that we got him. Niner, come here. Hey, it's good. Niner. Sorry, he thought he was going.
Oh no, it's okay. So who are you saying that we're giving too much credit? You talking about
Wade
Salah or Wade Phillips?
Wade Phillips, because his defense ain't going on, So I'm wondering if, like, I love him. I remember when he was with Dallas, man. I mean, this guy, he's been all over the place. I still would give him. I would give him a nod, though. I would definitely give him a nod.
Yeah. So if you had, let's say all right, so say Wade Phillips is available, but you could also bring Chris Kasarik up. What would you do? Would you keep Kasarik with the defensive line and bring in a new guy, or would you put Chris Kasarik as the defensive coordinator and bring in a Wade Phillips to work with the defensive line, if he'll even accept?
I think you keep Coach Kasarik with the D line. His intensity might be too much for corners, man. I mean, he might. I can't see him yelling at the corners like that because with the defensive linemen, they got to have a different level of nasty. They have to be fire off the line quickly and stuff like that. I don't know how that works or how that translates to the other groups, linebackers or corners and safeties. I just don't know how it works in the secondary. So. If he's interested in it, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Don't get me wrong. And obviously, he'll spend his time where he feels like he needs to spend his time. So it's not like we're going to lose him as a D-line coach. And I'm sure that he'll have his principles, and he'll just leave the DBs alone if that was the case.
Right. Okay. Now, besides we're gonna go in a circle. All right. I'm gonna start with bronze. Besides for the defensive line, right? Because we know obviously like that's probably where most of the talent. Well, I don't think even necessarily most of the talent. But besides for the defensive line, what do you think is the most talented position group on the defense?
Linebacker. I think it's going to be probably like we might be one of the top 5 in the league. I'm being nice about that too. I really think closer to top 3.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. And I would have to say the same thing. I don't think that our linebackers get the credit that they deserve. When you look at, just across the board, man, those 3 guys, and then you add a guy like Joe Walker, who's a vet and who has a motor and who runs to every tackle and who's all over the field and he knows how to cover and he has speed from sideline to sideline. And he's the 4th guy. Okay. Man. And then you got Quan. Quan is a monster from side to side. He knows how to cover. And then you got Dre Greenlaw a 5th-round guy who came in, who nobody expected to be that good. I was one of the guys that said this guy played safety at Arkansas. He switched over to linebacker. He could cover. Watch out for him. And then you got our leader in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I think that we're probably the best linebacking core in the league. Mike, what do you think?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I had something happening over here. What was you asking?
So besides for the defensive line, who is what group in the defense is the most talented, or if not the most talented, what group is the most important besides for the defensive line?
I agree with y'all. The linebackers are definitely the most talented ones. That's what I kind of thought. The secondary is good because they work together well, but they don't have that linebacking group is insane, bro.
Yeah,
it is insane.
Scary. It's definitely scary. Yeah, man. Well, shit, bro. I know you out there with the family, man. It's getting close to an hour, bro. I really want to thank you for coming on. I've been rocking with Nothing But Niners for a long time, and I appreciate you guys coming on, bro, because you're doing nothing but helping me and Brian's build our platform, bro, and I really appreciate that, bro.
No problem at all, fellas. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I happily do it again too, man. I love talking Niners, so anytime y'all need me, just let me know, bro.
All right, man.
Okay, bro.
Talk to you later, Mike.
All right, fellas. Y'all be.
All right, peace out.
Peace.
Yeah, that was a good section, man. All right, to everybody out there that's watching, bro, do not go anywhere. We're at the 51-minute and 30-second mark. We have the John Chapman from the 49ers Rush podcast. If you guys don't know who he is, I don't know if you are a true 49er fan. Okay, I'm not trying to take a shit on your fandom or anything, but this guy breaks down film. He has his platform on YouTube. He has a lot of sponsors. He has the 49er Rush podcast on the Google apps. He has it on the Apple apps. You can look at, you can go to a lot of different platforms, and he has his platform on all of those places. Go ahead and look him up on YouTube. Subscribe to him. Go ahead
John Chapman,
and go to
49er.
John. Yeah, man. John Chapman, man, he really does a good job of breaking down film, and he is a true diehard 49er fan.
Man, I forgot to ask. I always forget to ask the guests who their favorite 49er player is. So before we end it with John Chapman, let's try to remember.
Let's make sure. Let's make sure to do that, bro.
No, but hey, man, I like how Mike, he brought a different light to me for Akello. We all know it's obvious he is talented,
right.
But yeah, like what were they saying about the 4 mistakes or whatever, and a lot of some of those plays, wasn't his fault. He was just trying to cover someone else's man. But still, there's times that he blew coverages, and it looked like it was more of a mental confidence thing.
Hey, man. I mean, it just I totally understand what Mike is saying. Right. I totally understand what Mike is saying. Like when you're in the heat of a game, right, and you're watching the game, and especially if it's a close game, and you see a guy catch the ball, and a guy the guy in the red jersey is Akello Witherspoon. You're not really thinking, or you're not giving a damn about if the coverage broke down on one side and he was actually doing somebody else's job, right? Because it's in the heat of a game, right?
Yeah.
Like you're actually thinking, like that was your man, that was your job. That's what you were supposed to be doing. That play is on you. But I totally understand what Mike is saying. If you go back and look at some of the game film when Akello Witherspoon was playing, you will understand what he's saying.
Right.
You could go and you could type in Akello Witherspoon snap count, and it will show you all of the snaps that he played, and it breaks down between each game. So if you go to those games and you watch the defensive snaps, they have on the NFL. If you go to the NFL Network, they have the Game Pass right now free all the way up until July 31st. So you could watch every single game. They have the all 22 breakdown, and what that does is it cuts out the sound, and and you could watch from over the top of the play field. You could watch every single play, and you could watch the play breakdown. You could slow it down.
Yeah,
You could
that's
maximize
dope.
it. You could maximize it. You could do a lot of things with that all 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's free this right now.
Yeah, bro. It's been free. As soon as we went on lockdown, they announced it
Wow.
on Twitter that it was going to be free all the way up until July 31st.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good, man.
Yep. So I want to talk
So
about another subject, bro. So the parameters that the NFL released, there was an article that was released yesterday, and it was Harbaugh's brother, the coach of the Ravens. And he was talking about how those parameters and guidelines that the NFLPA and the states released was damn near impossible. They basically want guys to work out one at a time. They want guys to shower one at a time. If you're in the film room, you have to be separated 6 feet from the side, 6 feet in the front, and 6 feet behind. It's just some things that he said are not even feasibly possible. Like some of the shit that they're asking for is just not feasibly possible. I mean, what do you think? I mean, what would you do, Bronze? Like, would you just say fuck it and just be like, we're going to do what we need to do, and if we get fined, we get fined? Like, it is.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm thinking like, okay, are there going to be like some auditors, some inspectors that's going to be checking them out? You know, yeah, it's for each organization, and I'm thinking like, say like for the 49ers, I'm really thinking they're going to be creative, right? I mean, you're going to have some off the field stuff, like, you know, just like what Jimmy G's doing. You know, he's at San Jose State,
right.
You know, doing things like that. I mean, they got to be creative to think about. But yeah, with say working out at one at a time, I'm like, what the hell?
Like,
is
how
that?
the fuck is that gonna be? Like, so you got a 90-man roster right now. You have to get down to 55. It's only 24 hours in a fucking day. So how are you gonna get? What are you gonna do? Like, I mean, are you gonna do maximized sets for 15 minutes, and then you can't get a workout in?
Oh
15
man,
minutes?
yeah.
I mean, you could possibly cut it down to 30 minutes if you have guys on a circuit and they have to go from station to station to station nonstop. But what does that do to your body? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you could possibly get injured. You could strain yourself trying to. I just don't understand. Like, bro, like, put on masks, sanitize everything. Like, that's the only thing that you could possibly do. And
exactly.
And they already have testing stations. So every time you go to the facility, you're going to get tested. And the test, they're instantaneously. They swab you. They put it in a solution. It comes out within 2 minutes if you have COVID or not. After every person rotates from every station, make sure you sanitize every time you get done with your workout. And there's the next man up. You sanitize. You know what I'm saying? And just leave it at that, bro. Like, I
mean, they opened up gyms now, like regular gyms that people do. And
I mean, everybody back at the gym fucking working out right now, bro. Like, it's just too much mass hysteria.
I understand maybe you can limit the people that's in the gym at a time, maybe like a couple of the groups and stuff. But like one person at a time, like, wow.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Man.
Great Barry, over 30 people in here, bro. Like Wolves of Wall Street. Got to get these numbers up. Yeah, bro. We trying. Hey, man.
Shout out to everybody, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tapping in.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're trying our best, man. Whether it was 3 or it was 30, man. All we know is we're going to continue to get the best possible guests we can get on to have you guys tune in, man. And I think that Mike is one of the most qualified guys on a 49ers platform to come in here and talk to you. And John Chapman is. Like, you guys have to realize on our second, no, was it our second or third? Was it our third episode? On our third episode, we had Grant Cohn. Like, Grant Cohn has been with the Sacramento Bee since I don't know how long.
It's Democrat, Santa Clara
Democrat. The Democrat, the Democrat press, And I mean, he's a qualified guy, and now he's with Sports Illustrated also, man. I mean, he's literally right behind Cap with a mic when Cap was talking about, you know what I'm saying, why he was kneeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a part of history. We had this guy on the third episode. We got qualified people. We just had Kyle Madsen in here. Like, man, come on, man. We doing the best that we could possibly do, man.
All right. Well, speaking of John Chapman,
holy shit.
We got him in here, man. We're about to bring him in, the man, the myth, the legend.
What is up, gentlemen? How we doing?
What up?
Man, Mr. Chapman, how you doing, man?
Man, it's been crazy. Just got to say, Niners all day, man. Love what you guys do. Big fan. And, man, love to be here and just talk some football and whatever the hell else you guys got planned. But big fan and love what you guys are doing.
Yeah, man. We definitely appreciate it, man. Me and Bronze have been watching your platform for a long time, bro. And I was just amazed at how fast you were able to grow that platform, because we all know that it is not easy to get people to say, I'm going to sit down in front of my television or my laptop or my handheld device, and I'm going to devote my time. The only thing that I cannot possibly get back at the end of the day is my time. I'm going to devote that time to watching you guys. That's not easy to do. And, you know, to see how your platform has grown, man, you were one of the guys that I really wanted to get on.
Man, really appreciate the kind words. It's been interesting. You know, we've been going for 4 years, and, you know, usually you just see me, but we've got a crazy team. We've got about 8 people, quality people that are doing a lot of behind the scenes work, you know, helping writing, finding stats, editing, getting stuff up. But it took 2 years before it did anything. I remember we were about a year in, and I was like, man, you know, we're getting 200 to 300 people watching, and that's great. And I'm very happy with that, but it was just stuck. And then I don't know what happened or what caused it, because it was, you know, maybe the Kyle Shanahan signing whenever they came in or whatever, but it kind of just, it exploded. And a lot of it's just people like yourself and you guys, and just chatting back and forth on Twitter. And just, the funny thing is this, you know, you're a guest on a podcast or you join somebody else's podcast, you pick up a couple listeners, and then those listeners tell other people, and it's just organic. And I think, you know, I just want to say thanks to you guys again for having me, because this is how things grow. And hopefully, you know, I'm going to share this as well. And hopefully some of my listeners that don't already follow you guys jump over here, because you guys do great work.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, man. So, you know, go ahead and tell the people, you know, where you're from, and, you know, what got you, what basically made you say, okay, I love the 49ers so much that I want to provide content. I want to provide content for the people who are just like me, who are diehard fans.
So first off, I'm an asshole from Texas. Born and raised in Dallas, Fort Worth, and I love football. Football was my passion from very early on, and, you know, growing up in Dallas Cowboys territory, whatever, I have to attribute my fandom to a shitty stepdad. I hate him. And so for my 10th birthday, I wanted to force this guy to buy me something that I knew he would hate. And so I asked for a Jerry Rice jersey for my 10th birthday, just knowing it was going to piss him off. And needless to say, it got pretty bad. Mom had to step in and intervene, but I still have that jersey in my closet. It's the first thing I see every single day whenever I wake up. And ever since then, diehard 49ers fan. So I couldn't get it out of my blood after that. You know, that was 92 whenever I turned 10. So dating myself a little bit here. But, you know, it was right on before they went crazy nuts and, you know, won the Super Bowl versus the Chargers and all that stuff. But so I got into coaching after I finished grad school, and I loved coaching high school football down in Texas. And that was awesome. But the wife and I became foster adoptive parents, and my 2 little boys, who are amazing, they're little hellions, and so they both got kicked out of school. So I had to, get rid of them. I couldn't do the coaching. I had a bed in my office, And so I just couldn't do that anymore. And so I had to do something with football because I loved it so much. And so I just transitioned from coaching high school football in Texas to 49ers and focusing on this. So I can work at home now, and my boys are much better behaved now, which is wonderful. But that's how we got started.
That's what's
awesome.
up, man. And Bronze is also in Texas, man. You know what I'm saying? How and this is a question for both of you guys. Like, how is it being a 49er fans in that Texas environment? Like, how is it literally like, I almost have to defend myself physically, or is it just a lot of bad heckling? Like, what goes on, bro?
I want to hear Bron's answer real quick. And what part of Texas you from, man?
I'm in Houston.
Okay.
But born and raised in Northern California. I grew up in Sacramento. So
Okay.
I didn't let Trey know about that. But so in Houston it's more diverse. There's a lot of transplants from here, so there's a 49er chapter in Houston, and
oh wow.
It was crazy because when I moved into my house a couple years ago, the neighbor, not my next door neighbor, but the house over, he's a 49er fan because he saw like my flag in the garage, and he made his wife come over, and his wife saw the flag, and he came to the house and said, "Hey, I saw you're a 49er fan." Like, yeah, because I'm a Niner fan too. Like, oh, this is crazy in the neighborhood and in Houston. It was like, I mean, it was like a rare thing, but it's not as bad. I mean, as Dallas, man. That's
right.
I'll say this: growing up, those middle school to high school years, because whenever you got that Niner starter jacket, you remember back whenever those were those were the shit. Like growing up,
yeah,
that was
yes.
You'd wear it in Dallas. It'd be 100 degrees outside, but you're still wearing it. Like, you got to wear a jacket. It's still awesome.
Right.
And the rivalries back and forth, because that's when the Cowboys were good, right?
Right.
Well, now they have one playoff win in 24 years. So now it's kind of, they've dissipated. They don't exist too much anymore. You can tell I still have some like extra ammunition to shoot off to the Cowboys fans. But as time went on, the Cowboys fans, they kind of changed to, instead of like focusing on rivalries and things like that and championships, now they'll pick one or two games. Yeah, but we beat the Packers that one year. And so they stay at that kind of moment. They're not looking forward. Yeah. And how do you do that with Jerry Jones? You're just stuck in the past.
Hey, man, one thing I always say is, and I don't wish death on nobody, right? But one thing I always say is the Dallas Cowboys will not win another Super Bowl until Jerry Jones is passed over. You cannot be an owner, a general manager, and a play caller, right? Like Jerry Jones, it seems like that guy where it's 4th and 1, and he's going to call down to the field, tell him to call a timeout, and run the play that he wants them to run, right? And that's just not going to help. That's just not going to help an organization. We've seen it with Jed York. Jed York finally said, "I'm going to shut the hell up. I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to let John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan run this team like it's supposed to be ran."
And it's funny, the way you propose that in these two different leadership styles, in Jerry Jones and Jed York. First off, the NFL owners meeting that they did on Zoom just a month ago. I don't know if you were able to read about this or whatever. Peter King did a whole bit on it. Jerry Jones didn't know how to mute himself, okay? So you have all 32 owners, right, at the Zoom meeting, whatever, with the commissioner and all that stuff, and they're going he didn't know how to mute himself. And one of the other owners goes, "I wish we could just leave Jerry on mute 24/7. To all the other owners. Shit. So, like, this isn't even just a your take. This is his owner billionaire friends can see what a dipshit this guy is.
Oh, wow.
That is crazy, bro. I am definitely. You guys go look for that Peter King. Go look for that. Go look for that article, because I'm definitely going to look at that, man.
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted John to come on, because I knew he was going to shed some light on some shit that I had no idea about. So I definitely going to go look at that. In the last couple of weeks, man, it has been extremely crazy. It just seems like the 49ers have this extreme what could I say? This extreme sports media It's just like a revolution. Like it keeps on continuing. It's Jimmy G. He won't win a Super Bowl. He's not the guy. Now it's Greg George Kittle. He deserves $20 million a year. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think that there's a certain point at which George Kittle, we should just say, okay, we got to get 2 first-round draft picks for him because we can't pay him $20 million a year? Where do you think that cutoff price is?
Okay, so one, I think that Kittle. So let's step back real quick because I love this question. It's a very good question. And if we look at DeForest Buckner, I think it sets the parameters to have this discussion, right? Because you have DeForest Buckner, who's this Iron Man 49er that plays every game, plays the most snaps of any D lineman over the 4-year span he's been there, and star from the start. Now, the problem was this. You came to a point where the salary cap wasn't great, and you had to make some tough decisions. And you had Eric Armstead or you had DeForest Buckner. Well, they chose to go with the team-friendly deal, and Eric Armstead, who has a lot of ties to Sacramento at Bronze. He does so much work there in the community. It's amazing. Love Eric Armstead. And then you had DeForest Buckner, who said, look, I'm getting top-tier money, period, and he deserved it. So the 49ers did something that I thought was wonderful because it was a win-win. They're going to pay the local guy that wants the home time discount, and they're going to trade DeForest Buckner to a team he chose that's, championship quality team. I think the Colts are close to there with the offseason that they've had, and he got paid. So that was a win-win. Now let's jump to Kittle, which you brought up. You can't pay everybody. You're exactly correct.
Right.
Now, if you look at the top paid tight ends across the league, you're talking $11 to $12 million. That's it. Usually, whenever you have a new top tier player at a position sign a new contract extension, it usually jumps up about 15% on what the previous is. So if we're just saying 10 million, that's jumping up to 11.5 to 12.5 million. That's not going to cut it for Kittle.
Right.
Now you threw out the term or the number 20 million, and I think that's a little much, but it's closer than the 12 million that, precedent would set. You got to pay this man. Now, the problem I have is we don't know what the salary cap is going to look like in 2021 because the salary cap is predicated upon revenue brought in the previous year. What if there's no fans? If there's no fans, revenue is going to be cut, meaning the salary cap is cut. It's not determined by any person or the owners. There's a formula. So if that happens, now you're screwed. I think the worst case scenario for George Kittle is a franchise tag, but I know nobody wants that. I don't think that a deal will get done until about week 4 or 5, whenever they realize, okay, we're making money now, or we're not. This is what we have to work with. Everybody wants Kittle to stay. Kittle wants to stay. But it's much tougher than previous years past because if we knew what the salary cap was next year, I don't think there's a problem paying him $18.5 million.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen this article that was released on March. I believe it was like March 12th or 13th or something like that. The NFL went ahead and they extended every team's credit line from $350 million to $500 million. Do you have any idea if that is also going to help teams in this time where it's allocated to not just operation costs, but is some of that money allocated to the actual cap?
Yeah, not to the cap itself, but in your cap finagling. So, for example, this is the Oakland Raiders rule, okay? The Raiders have been strapped for cash for a decade. They don't have enough to pay a lot of the active contracts that they have bonuses because they just don't have the cash, okay? Now, what this does is, let's say we're going to sign Kittle. What teams will do in the salary cap era is they're going to put a huge signing bonus on it. Okay. So even though you're paying somebody, let's just say 20 million, I don't think that's what it's going to be, but let's say we're going to pay Kittle 20 million. That whole 20 million doesn't count against the cap. That's not how it works. So what you're going to do is the numbers are going to work out to 20, but you're going to give him a $10 million signing bonus. So what that's going to do, and let's say we sign him for 5 years, $100 million, just to make the numbers easy. Okay. So instead of just the $20 million cap hit this year, 20 million next year for 5 years, that's not what it does. You do a $10 million signing bonus. You're going to spread that out through the length of the contract. That's $2 million each year. That's going to go off the cap, but you have to have the cash to pay that. If you don't have the cash to pay that signing bonus, then you have to relegate all of that back to cap penalties. And so what this does is it's robbing Peter to pay Paul. Instead of going towards the cap, you're able to spread it out and manipulate it in a way that you're going to have a low cap number. So Jimmy Garoppolo's salary cap number drops huge next year. So you could finagle it to focus the huge cap penalty or hit on that 2021 year or 2022 year where Jimmy G's number is much lower.
Okay. That makes it a lot more clear.
That makes me feel a little bit better. That makes me feel like have more confidence that we can afford Kittle.
Kittle ain't going anywhere. The worst comes to worst. It's going to be a franchise tag. They're not letting him go. And if they do the franchise tag, I left this part out. We saw this with Jimmy Graham back in the day because the Saints wanted to tag him as a tight end. And he was saying, no, I'm not a tight end. I play more snaps split out. And so he was able to get adjusted just a little bit. But here's the thing with Kittle. Most of his snaps are in line. So according to NFL rules, he is going to be tagged as a tight end. That's going to be a problem because that's going to bring that number down to 10 million, which we know Kittle's not going to play for 10 million in 2021. So there's going to have to be something there.
Right. Okay, man. So there was an article released by Niners Nation, and it was talking about, the top 10 free agents. And me and Bronze, we went ahead and we looked at all of our free agents. Go to the other one, Bronze, where it has all of the free agents from 2021. So total we have 37, right? And what we wanted to do is, we've been doing this with a lot of we just did it with Mike, who just came on, and we wanted to do this with you also to get your outlook on the players that are like, okay, we definitely got to keep this guy, and a player to say, okay, he's okay, but we're going to let him go. We got somebody who could fill in for that spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to run down this entire list. All right. And we just want you to give your reasons as to A, why you want to keep this guy, or B, why this guy could go. Okay. So the first person on this list is Trent Williams.
Trent Williams is one of the most pivotal pieces to the 2020 season. And the coolest thing about this is it doesn't usually work out where you have a player in their contract year and you have a franchise and they're both going to be so mutually beneficial to each other doing well. Okay. So I'm sorry, I talk way too damn much. So you guys,
no, that's okay.
I keep going.
Nah, bro, no. When we bring guests on, this is our show. But when we bring a guest on who's a special guest, it's really about you and your perspective.
I was absorbing it.
So you feel free.
I appreciate.
I forgot I was part of the show. I was like, I'm part of the show. I'm not a viewer.
So the possibilities for Trent Williams are huge. Okay. One, we talked about cash with the owners. Guess what? He is strapped for cash as well. And the 49ers did him a solid because they went ahead and renegotiated a little bit of his contract to get some money up front because he hasn't made a penny in a year and a half because he's been injured, all that stuff, whatever. So the 49ers are already in his good graces. One, he wanted to go there. I don't know if you listened to the Trent Williams, Ian Rappaport interview, which was awesome on his podcast. But Ian let it slip that Minnesota offered a 2 straight up for Trent Williams. And they turned it down because it was under the understanding that Trent has to renegotiate his deal, which he didn't want to do. And so they lost that 2. We got him for a 5th and next year's 3. Absolute steal. Back to Trent Williams and his contract. Let's say he balls out. Let's say he's a top 5 left tackle in 2020, which I think most people expect he will be. Okay. Now he's going to be in that $15 to $16 million a year range to be re-signed. Okay, so let's say he signs a big deal elsewhere because the 49ers are going to pay Kittle and whatever else. Well, guess what? Now you're getting a 3rd-round comp pick back. You're getting this guy for free for an entire year while you're a Super Bowl contender. That's worst-case scenario for the 49ers. Trent Williams. Trent Williams gets paid, Super Bowl contender, and the 49ers get back a 3rd-round pick that they used to get him. And so it's not hurting anything. Now, let's say he comes out and has a 5 to 10 left tackle quality year, ranked 5 to 10 in the NFL. Well, in that case, you're going to be able to sign him on somewhat of a team-friendly deal, probably like a 3-year, $36 million with some incentives, whatever else. That's affordable for the left tackle. Or worst comes to worst, you franchise tag him. So I think Trent Williams, I would bet on him returning in 2021, especially because you have this year to see. He's never been a part of a non-Redskins locker room, and so I think it's going to be very eye-opening.
He's going to love it.
Yeah, he's going to love it. It's Kyle. He knows Kyle, but it's going to be different. So I love Trent Williams. I love what he's doing. I'm a Longhorn. I don't know about you, Bron. Are you you have any college affiliation?
No.
All right. I knew Houston. I didn't know if we're going to go Texas A&M and we were about to throw at it, but that's okay.
Well, that's my son. He's going to Texas. He's going to A&M.
Hey, man, that's all right. That's all right. My kids get on my nerves too. I feel you. But the idea is this: Trent Williams from OU. He played in East Texas. I followed his high school career somewhat closely just because he was such a stud.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I really want him to stay because he is the perfect fit, and he's only 31, so he can play for a while. So that's how I feel about Trent.
Right. Okay. Let's go down and what's the next one? Is Richard Sherman.
Man, what does Sherman look like long term? Everybody wanted the 49ers to draft corners, and they didn't draft one secondary member whatsoever. Didn't sign one player from the secondary during free agency. They said, nope, we're good. Everybody's in their last year. You look down this list, Richard Sherman in his last year. K'Wan Williams in his last year. You've got what's his name? Emmanuel Mosely, even though he'll be a restricted free agent at the end of this year, he's on there as well, and Akella Witherspoon. So you're talking about losing possibly 4 corners. Now, Sherman's 31. He's getting older. Does he transition to safety? We haven't seen that yet. Obviously, he's going to be corner for 2020, and I want him to stay there. But what does long-term look like? I don't know. Do you want to pay $12 million a year for a 32, 33-year-old Richard Sherman? Well, 2020 is going to determine that. Sherman's never relied on speed to be successful at this level. Instinct, physicality, and length. Okay, he has those in spades. It's the equivalent to Anquan Bolden on the opposite side of the field. You don't win with speed. You win because you work harder and you're smarter, and that's who Sherman is. And so I personally, even if you look at the Super Bowl, which I think he had a pretty damn good Super Bowl. A lot of people want to put that play against Sammy Watkins, which Sammy Watkins got him. And he didn't necessarily get him with speed. Sherman just stepped out of his frame and had poor footwork right at the line, and he was behind from the start. And so I don't think Richard Sherman will be brought back. I personally don't. This team's really high on Tim Harris. They're really high on Emmanuel Mosely. And with the depth that they have, and then you look at next year's picks, you could draft corners. You could draft a corner plug and play. You could sign a corner because that Richard Sherman deal is going to go off the books. You can replace it. I don't think Richard Sherman comes back, unfortunately. I hope he does. I just don't think he will. Right.
What about Solly?
Okay. All right.
Solly's gone. Solly's gone. He gone.
It's real simple. That's simple. Yeah, that's simple.
Yeah, I love Solomon, but he needs to go to a place where he can play 3 technique or a 3-4 and be an outside defensive end. But this experiment has not worked well for him. He needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think it's going to be productive, though, in his contract year.
You think? Yeah, and I hope so, right? You're talking about a guy that has more penalties than sacks in his career so far, which isn't good for a top 3 pick in the draft.
And even though we didn't pick up his 5th year, if he signs with somebody else, don't we get a compensatory for him because he's a top 5 pick, right?
Yeah, so the way the compensation picks work is it doesn't matter what they are. They just have to sign before the designation period ends, which is after the draft. So, yeah, if he signed another thing, you could get a compensation pick, but I don't think he'll qualify for that type of money. My guess is he'll sign like a 4.5 to 5 year or $5 million a year prove it deal, and he'll kind of bounce around. But I don't think I don't think we're going to get anything back for him.
Okay. All right, so the next guy on this list is Jaquaski Tart.
I think Tart's gone. I think the writing's on the wall. I think that his snaps are going to decrease slightly this year for Tarvarius Moore. I think Tarvarius Moore and Jimmy Ward are the best two safeties on the team. I like Tart. I really, really do. And I think that he has some traits that are great. But if you pay attention to the close games, whether it's the Saints, he was out of the Saints game, sorry, the Ravens game, if you want to look at he was out of the Ravens game. Sorry, off the top of my head. The Seattle game down the stretch and the Super Bowl. They target Jaquaski Tart. They target him. Wherever he is in the run game or the passing game, that's their first read. Now, it's not to say, it is to say, he's a weakness in the team. He doesn't force turnovers outside of that one awesome strip that he had of Russell Wilson in the end zone, which was badass. But he misses his running lanes quite often because he over pursues. He gets over aggressive. And it's just, that's a problem. I think that is the biggest weakness in this defense is Jaquaski Tart. Now, whenever he's on, he's solid, but I do not think that they bring him back. You're 4 deep at safety. Marcel Harris back there, which I know a lot of people don't like, but Marcel Harris, he had more passes defensed than Jimmy Ward and Jaquaski Tart in spot duty. So, yeah, he makes more mistakes. He's younger, but this is somebody that the front office drafted. You remember they drafted him. They waived him because he didn't make the initial 53 his rookie year. Then they brought him back, stashed him on the practice squad. Then he came up. So they're really high on Marcel Harris. And I think that's a big reason why they didn't draft anybody in the secondaries, because you have Tarvarius Moore and Marcel Harris, who both have starting experience, just sitting back there learning.
Right.
Man, that's awesome. Okay, so the next guy is Juice.
Yeah, Juice ain't going anywhere ever.
Nope.
He's locked in. Kyle will no. Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Right. Contract
Do you
option.
think
Robbie Gold. Oh my bad. Go ahead.
No,
What's up, Rob?
with Kyle, do you think they're gonna renegotiate, like have a more of a discount deal?
He's getting $4.5 million, which is a lot. Yeah, the 49ers pay the most out to the running back position of anybody in the NFL, collectively, not individually. Those things are going to change. I don't see Tevin Coleman. I think that this is his last year if he even makes the roster. I think if Jerick McKinnon is healthy, I can see Tevin Coleman getting cut. But Kyle Juszczyk, we saw what happened whenever he's out. Ross Dwelly did a hell of a job, but it's problematic to say the least. He's staying. I think he's staying.
Okay.
Okay, so we got Juice staying. We got Tevin Coleman possibly being cut. What about Robbie Gold? This is a contract option year. It's $4.7 million. His first 7 games before he got injured, he was horrible. He came back and he actually did kick, was it 3 game winning field goals?
Yeah.
So he kind of, redeemed himself. What do you think for this 2021 season? What do you think that we bring him back? Right.
He's getting up there. His early struggles, he had a couple injury concerns. He lost his long snapper who was using performance-enhancing drugs, which is awesome. You got to love that. A long snapper that's juiced. But once he came back, and I think that, we saw the importance of a kicker. One of the most heartbreaking plays of the whole year was Chase McLaughlin's 47-yard field goal that didn't even make it out of the damn end zone.
And he was so good the rest of the game.
And here's what's crazy is Chase McLaughlin just got paid. Like, he is the kicker now. Man, was it – did this – dang it. Was it New England that got him? Dang it. I got to look this up. Where you at, Chase? So Chase McLaughlin got paid by the Colts. Yeah, the Colts, they get all of our players.
Wow. So damn.
San Francisco.
49 farm team.
Yeah, you're not lying. But the issue is this. We saw the importance of a kicker. And, this year, if Robbie Gold does go out and do it again, he could retire. He's well up in years. He wants to move back to Chicago with his family. That's been stated since the start. I think the best situation would be a Super Bowl win and Robbie Gold retiring. That's kind of the Cinderella ball story that I'm hoping for.
Right.
Okay. All right. Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne, he's staying put. And I think, you look at a lot of the prominent 49er voices, and they keep bringing this guy up. Any video you see of Jimmy Garoppolo working out, Kendrick Bourne's right there.
He's there. He's
right
always there.
You
Right
see
there.
him showing up to the protest, doing a hell of a job. I loved his speech that he gave, marching in Oakland. Love that. You love Kendrick Bourne. You know, my son's 16 and he plays wide receiver as well. And he just loves Kendrick Bourne. Like anytime that guy posts something on Instagram, my son lights up. And so I'm pulling for this guy. You know, you look back at 2018, he led the team in receiving yards. Then you go to 2019, and everybody thought, oh, well, he's gone. He was just here for a little while. Nope. All he does is catch first downs and touchdowns. He did have some key drops, but he's an undrafted free agent. He was undrafted, and he has continued, no matter who comes by, no matter who the 49ers draft, he has been a guy that you can rely on in crucial situations. And so I think Kendrick Bourne stays. You know, they put the second round tender on him, so he's making $2.3 million, I think, off the top of my head this year, which is a great contract. And it's a contract year for him because he'll be a unrestricted free agent. So you know, he could get paid big if he can prove and hold down that spot. That's going to be huge. I'm excited to see who gets those early snaps, weeks 1 through 4, between Kendrick Bourne and Brandon Ayuk, and if that transition takes place, or if Kendrick Bourne can kind of keep him at bay.
All right, Brian, you run through K1 through all the way through Jason Verrett.
All right, K1 Williams.
Man, K1 probably one of the best contracts in the NFL. You know, I think the deal that they got him for was like 3 years, $10 million or something like that. I mean, the dude's making pennies. Got some all-pro votes at the cornerback position. And this guy's bounced around too and just finally found the perfect situation. And tough as hell. You know, they drafted DJ Reed from Kansas State to come in and take his job. And they thought that was what was going to – but no, K1 just said, hell no, I'm not giving this up. And I think the biggest problem with K1 Williams is it's the K1 and Quan problem. Because I think your two starting linebackers moving forward, which we saw in the Super Bowl, is Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. And so that means if you're in nickel, you have Quan Alexander sitting on the sideline. That's problematic. If you're in base, you have K1 Williams on the sidelines. That's problematic as well. And so you're going to have plays where D Ford and Quan Alexander are sitting on the sidelines while your starters are out there. That is stupid. The depth that this team has is just nuts. Now, K1 has never been paid a lot of money, and he is going to be due a significant deal. You know, anywhere from probably $6 to $8 million a year. So in 2021, if he has another 2020 season like he has the last 3, he's going to get paid, and I don't think it's going to be by the 49ers. I just don't think they're going to be able to shell that money out whenever you talk about the other priorities that they have. But I'm pulling for this dude. He deserves it. He's the epitome of what the 49ers team and mindset is. He's just a worker.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we got Tom Compton, guard.
I don't even think he makes the roster this year, to be honest.
Okay. Ronald Blair.
Am I wrong on that? Do you guys feel me on that?
Hey, bro, I seen the look on your face. I already knew what you was going to say.
Yeah, I'm good. It's that thing like you go over to like your in-laws' house and they want to like force this new food they just made to try out, and you're just like, nah. And like your wife's like looking at you like, try it, and I'm just I don't fucking want that. I don't want that. No, don't want it.
Defensive Ronald Blair.
Oh man, you're not gonna find a bigger Ronald Blair fan than me. Ever since he was at Appalachian State going through his film, you don't know what to do with him because he's kind of a smaller defensive end that plays big, and he's strong as hell. And so he can play the 3, he can play the 5, he can play on top of the nose, the center in pass rush downs, or he can play outside. He is Eric Armstead light. And I again, as soon as we traded DeForest Buckner, I was like, we better re-sign Ronald Blair because I think that this guy is going to have just a crazy, crazy year. So they signed him to a 1-year prove-it deal. And again, very similar to K1 Williams. best case situation for Ronald Blair and the 49ers is for Blair to ball out and go get paid somewhere else. I don't think that there's a way that they're going to be able to bring him back long term. That's why we only saw the 1-year deal. This dude's going to get paid and will be a starter. He would start for 29 teams in the NFL, and he's probably the 4th defensive end on this team. The depth is stupid. It's stupid.
Crazy. Ben Garland. Center.
I think he's going to retire. He's 33 already. He might be I think he's going to start week 1, to be honest with you. I don't think Weston Richburg is going to be back from the patella tendon. But I think this is kind of the last hurrah for Ben Garland. He played great down the stretch. You can't be upset about, what he put out there, but at some point he's just a little too long in the tooth.
Right. Kerry Hyder, defensive end.
He's a guy that could be brought back pretty cheap. We saw a little bit of him, but he's not going to be a key player. He's just a guy to go in and get 2 or 3 snaps, 4th quarter if they're tired.
Yeah. Jerick McKinnon.
Dude, I love Jet. It's Jet or Tevin. And I don't think you keep them both this year. I think one's gone this year.
Wow.
So if Jerick is healthy, he's the guy. I'm telling you right now. If Jerick is healthy, you're going to keep him. You're going to cut Tevin Coleman, which frees up $4.5 million salary cap this year. Jet's going to be the guy. Kyle has tabbed him. They paid out the wazoo for him for a reason. Right, they want to see what he can do. And the 49ers fan base will be so excited. Tevin Coleman's done nothing wrong. We just don't want to see him starting. I don't think anybody wants to see him starting.
Right. So you think he'll start over Raheem?
I don't think start over Raheem. But again, now you look at the Super Bowl, Raheem Mostert didn't get 1 carry in the first quarter. So Raheem hasn't started.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He was the workhorse for those 3 weeks, and everybody knew he was the better back. But I think personally, if everybody was healthy, I think that Jerick McKinnon would be the first one out there for Kyle Shanahan if he had it his way, if everybody was healthy. I hope we can see that. I love Raheem Mostert, but for some reason, I don't know what Kyle Shanahan has against him, but he's got something.
Yeah.
All right,
hey, what real quick, Bronze, we're streaming through YouTube right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, just making sure. All right, go ahead, my bad.
We got Travis Benjamin.
Man, again, another guy that the 49ers do this every year. Whenever they go into a draft, they're going to sign all these different positions to make sure that they have their slots filled. Then the draft happens. Then they're like, okay, cool. So the fact that you got Brandon Ayuk in the first round is great. And so now you have a little bit more competition. Then you go in the 7th round and you take a home run swing with somebody like a Juwan Jennings, who's probably going to be playing that big slot role. Well, guess what? Travis Benjamin's a slot player too. And so they have 2 kind of small, shifty guys in Travis Benjamin and Trent Taylor. Health concerns with Trent Taylor, obviously. Now you've got these 2 huge slot guys in Jalen Hurd, who, guess what? He's working out now too. He's healthy as well, and Juwan Jennings. So I think the odd man out there is if Hurd or Trent Taylor are healthy, I don't think Travis Benjamin makes this roster. I think it just takes one of those guys to be ready for the initial 55-man roster now. It's not 53 anymore. But it takes one guy. Trent Taylor or Jalen Hurd's healthy. I think Travis Benjamin's cut.
Okay. Jason Verrett.
I think he stays. I don't think he's going to start. I don't think he's going to play. I think that they're going to park him on the bench and, in case of emergency, break the Jason Verrett case. Which didn't go well last year in the 4 plays that he stepped in, but the talent is there. You got to get the confidence back. You go back to Jason Verrett coming out of TCU. That dude could have won defensive rookie of the year. He was so damn good.
He was bad. He
was awesome. And I was pissed when we didn't take him. I think he went 22. He went somewhere late in the first round. We were picking like 31. I don't remember who we got, but I wanted him bad. And whenever he went, I was pretty pissed. And so we kind of have this problem, especially if you follow the draft. You fall in love with these players. and you just can't quit him. I can't quit Jason Verrett. And so I hope something good happens to him. But at some point, he's probably going to get some playing time because we sure as hell can't put freaking Dante Johnson back out there anymore. That guy.
No, we can't. Okay, what about Akello Witherspoon?
I think he needs to go. I think he's got to go somewhere where the fan base doesn't remember what he's done. Confidence between the years is a big deal for him. Health is a big deal for him. And so with confidence, new situations, new starts can kind of be something fresh.
Right.
I don't know. Just that Minnesota game, the playoff game, we go out and destroy this team, and he just keeps giving up all these targets, and everybody's picking on him. Everybody in the stadium knows where the ball's going, and he still can't do anything about it. I think you've got to remove him. He needs to go play for a small fan base, like Buffalo Bills. Put him with the Buffalo Bills. Like, that's where he should be. I think he would do much better. Yeah, that's not a slight on Buffalo Bills. They have my second favorite fan base out there, but you don't have the media market and all that kind of stuff out there. That's where he should go.
Yeah, their defense is not bad too.
No, it's solid, man. It's solid. They're going to win the AFC East this year, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah. All right, man. So we got Sean Coleman, man. This is a guy who was going to be a swing tackle. He's supposed to be extremely talented. What do you think about that guy?
Super high upside guy that's just never played. Injuries, all that kind of stuff that stepped in. And, man, you follow the timeline of what we got. So you've got Justin School. So Justin School and Sean Coleman are going to be competing for that swing spot. But then you go in and you bring in McKivitz, who they drafted in the 5th round after they traded away Matt Breida. And so before the Trent Williams trade went through, John Lynch said – we were going to draft Colton McKivitz with the pick we traded for Trent Williams. Okay. We were going to draft him, and he was going to work in at left tackle and compete for one of the spots with Sean Coleman and with Justin School. Well, they make the trade. They get Trent Williams. They're sitting on the clock, and they finally get this Matt Breida deal worked out with Miami, and Colton McKivitz still sitting there. And they said, well, we got our tackle. What do we do? And they said, well, he can compete at guard too. So let's go ahead and get him, and he can compete for the starting guard spot, which I think is going to be Daniel Brunskill. Everybody knows it's going to be Daniel Brunskill. But now you have Colton McKivitz, who can back up all 4 O-line spots besides the center spot. I think, it's deep. The depth is unparalleled. I think the Saints I think the Saints are probably about it whenever you look at depth across the NFL rosters that can compete with the 49ers. I think it's those two, and it's a big gap before you get to any other team personally.
Right.
But I don't think Sean Coleman comes back. I think this is it.
Okay.
So we're going to skip over Dante Johnson. We already know. He's just not even worth mentioning, man. This next guy I actually got to watch when he was at UFO. I live in the Pacific Northwest. I've been here for some years. It's Joe Walker. He actually took a starting position at inside linebacker from a first rounder. Okay. He was a guy that when we played against Arizona, this dude was all over the fucking field. Like, you've seen Joe Walker in every single play, and we just signed him. Do you think that this is a guy we bring back to continue to add depth to the linebacker group?
The linebacker group for the 49ers is the best in the NFL. You know, we talked about the 3 guys. It's the best in the NFL. Now, Joe Walker's competition is none of those guys. He is fighting for a special teams role. And you go back to when Joe Walker first came into the league with the Eagles, I think. He made a couple – freaking highlight reel tackles on special team. And he was a fan favorite early on. Another guy I podcast with at host Chuck B. He's a huge Eagles guy, and he swears by this. So Joe Walker, I think his competition is Mark Nzocha, who
Mark Nzocha, and he's making like $1.5 million.
Yes,
Mark Nzocha.
Why? Mark Nzocha is on every single special teams, and he backs up all 3 linebacking positions. So he's a guy that gives you a lot of positional versatility. Now, can Joe Walker step up and take not only Mark Nzocha, you've also got, Azeez Al-Shahar, who's awesome. There's lots of guys there. You go get Jonas Griffith, who I'm a huge fan of, undrafted free agent out of Indiana State, real small school guy, but he's huge. He's like 6'4", 240 at linebacker. So that linebacker room, it's cutthroat. If Hard Knocks was doing the 49ers this year, like it would be insane the amount of people that are getting cut that are just stacked. So I don't know. I don't think Joe Walker makes it personally, but I like him. I
would love to see him. Okay, this next guy, man, I think that he's gone. CJ Beathard.
I don't know what it would have taken to get anything for him. I think Kyle was convinced he could get like a third or something. I don't know what it was.
Oh my God.
But this year, two things. This year, there's the most quarterbacks available in the NFL all time. The fact that Cam Newton is still sitting on the sideline is crazy. Like we've got this overlap stage of the old quarterbacks: Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. They're not leaving. They were supposed to leave. They didn't leave. But we've also had these new young quarterbacks coming up into the league, just like you do every year. But this is the overlap. There's no scarcity. The market is flooded with quarterbacks. They're everywhere, right? You look at the Saints, they have 3 quarterbacks on their roster that they're paying a lot of money to. Drew Brees, Taysom Hill's getting $10 million. You look at Marcus Mariota getting almost $8 million to back up Carr. Yeah. Like, there's just quarterbacks everywhere. Now, that's going to dissipate next year. You're going to lose 3 to 4 quarterbacks, if not more, just due to old age. They got to retire eventually. So the quarterback market next year might have a little bit more value, but even then, it was 6th for CJ Beathard. Is that worth rostering him all year just to get a 6th? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah,
I don't think it is.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he is cut, but
I don't see the value of continuing to keep him. I know he's a guy that Kyle drafted. I know for head coaches, man, it's really hard to let go of guys that you drafted. You know what I mean? But I don't know. These next few guys, we're just going to skip over, like, because we don't know anything about them. Willie Henry, Jake Brenda, I don't know none of those guys. We're going to go down to Ross Dwelly.
Okay, so Rod's is interesting. Swiss Army knife that everybody fell in love with. Kittle gets injured, breaks his ankle. Ross Dwelly steps in, has some key plays, participated in one of the game-winning catches that kicked a field goal. Like, the dude just balled out. But then you go down the stretch, he lost all of his snaps to Levine Toilolo. What the hell happened? Like, Rod was supposed to be the dude, right? The only thing I can say – exactly. So the only thing I could say that is going to be the saving grace for Ross returning is he's a restricted free agent. So you can kind of determine you can give him, his 4th round tender and bring him back for $1 million, something around $2 million next year. So I think that he will return because this is a guy they have invested in. You remember they stashed him all year on the practice squad as an undrafted rookie. Then he finally got his shot when Selleck got injured. So I think that Ross is a guy that I hope sticks around, but I don't think that he is going to ever be starter quality. I think he's a backup. You brought up Juice earlier because he filled in for Juice as well whenever he got injured. Because when Kittle and Juice were out, Ross Dwelly had to go back there and do that. So he's just one of those guys, special teamers, just depth across the line, but I think he will be back.
All right, good. Jeff Wilson Jr.
Oh, big dog, Jeff Wilson, UNT, man, the fighting mean green. Jeff Wilson does not fit what Kyle Shanahan likes at running back at all. But he just scores touchdowns. And so I think that goes ways. And at a given point, football is a true meritocracy to where once you get these guys like Jeff Wilson, who had no business, we had 5 running backs, and that guy just clawed and eventually passed even the great Matt Breida. You never know what's going to happen. And whenever he stepped in, he had one play. He played one play against Arizona, and it was in the 4th quarter with 50 seconds left, and he scored the game-winning touchdown on an arrow option route, which was awesome. He only had one play. So it shows that you can trust him. Play. And so he's got to be super, super cheap. Again, another restricted free agent, and we saw this happen last year. Now, he's nowhere near Matt Breida yet, and I don't think he will be, but we saw the playbook. Worst comes to worst, you offer a second-round tender on this guy again, and you trade him at a cheap contract to another team. That's worst case. Jeff Wilson's not going anywhere.
All right.
Okay.
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, he couldn't get out if he wanted to. He's a restricted free agent. There's no way. Nick's not going anywhere. BDN, baby.
Okay, are we going to skip Tabor? Brunskill.
Yeah, Brunskill cannot go anywhere. So
Yes.
he will only have
Yes,
2 years accumulated, assuming he gets at least 4. I think it's 3 game starts now. So he's not even a restricted free agent. He's exclusive restricted free agent, which means there's nowhere he can go. So very similar to what we what we just did with Nick Mullins, actually. Like, you can basically sign them. I think it's like an extra 60% on top of what they're already making, which he's making like what, $400,000-$500,000, almost league minimum. So he's not going anywhere.
All right. Emmanuel Mosely.
He's staying as well. Again, he's
Okay.
restricted. He can't negotiate with other teams. 49ers have exclusive rights.
Then we got Kittle and Trent Taylor.
I don't think Trent Taylor signs. I don't think he will.
Crazy.
Health, and again, we talked about all the different draft capital they're putting into that slot position. You look at, Jalen Hurd. You're looking at Jawan Jennings. Who knows if Travis Benjamin, whatever else, the health concerns. I think what Kyle Shanahan wants to do with that slot is he wants a tight end / big slot guy to man that position. And I don't think Trent fits that. Okay.
What about DJ Jones?
He's going to get paid, man. I really do think he's going to get paid. Get another 5th round pick. How much money can you put into the D line? You can put all the draft capital you want there, but whenever you look behind him and you see guys like Givens, Julian Taylor, Ronald Blair, which I guess he doesn't really play that position, but you have some different guys that can man that inside spot. Is it worth paying DJ Jones $5 to $6 million whenever he's just playing on first and second downs? Maybe it is. I like DJ Jones, but I think that they've chosen to spend all of their money on the outside of that defensive line, not necessarily the inside.
Damn. All right. What about Marcel Harris? I mean, he's pretty much a guy.
Yeah, okay. He's restricted. He's not going anywhere.
All right. And Daniel Helm and Kevin Givens.
Man, Helm is a guy that they like and they just keep holding on to. But he never got elevated to playing time. So I don't think that that's going to happen now. You bring in Charlie Warner, the tight end from Texas or from Georgia. And so now it's going to be Ross Dwelly. It's going to be Daniel Helm. Helm's got to go pass through both those guys. And outside of serious injuries, I just don't see it happening. But they love him, and I don't think they're letting him go. For some reason, they're pretty high on this kid.
And the last guy is Kevin Givens.
Love me some Kevin Givens, man. You watched the game film. Everybody was waiting on, who's the guy that came back from injury from the inside?
Kentavious Street.
Yes, thank you. Everybody was waiting on Street. You were waiting on the wrong guy.
Right.
Kevin Givens showed up, and it took 2 plays for people to go, well, damn, here's another stud. Unfortunately, the season didn't end as well for him as you would have hoped for, but this guy's not going anywhere. And again, going back to DJ Jones, is DJ Jones for $6 million or Kevin Givens for $600,000? Is that worth the price discrepancy where you could allocate those funds somewhere else? And I think personally, I would take Kevin Givens. I think DJ Jones is a better player now. Maybe Kevin can get to that point, but I don't think the contract's going to be there for DJ. But Kevin, he's an exclusive, restricted free agent. He can't go anywhere. He can't negotiate anything. You've got him at least for 2 more years. So I think that Kevin is going to be a part of this long-term plan. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Givens is starting 2021 week 1. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good.
So there was a question that Bronze wanted to ask you. What was the question, Bronze?
Oh, yeah.
think you
Who is your favorite player overall? 49er player.
Favorite player now, man. My kids get mad at me. They ask me this, and I change it all the time. I just got through going through every single play of Dre Greenlaw last year, and right now I got to be honest with you. I think Dre Greenlaw is the shit, man. I cannot like
Man.
anybody more. One, you look at his past, just his background, the man, the human being that this guy is on and off the field, and just the way he plays.
Right.
He is a badass, man. And my favorite thing about him, this will make me sound shallow, but I am shallow. Let's be honest. He just destroys Russell Wilson. Like,
Yes.
you beat Russell Wilson, Zach. I love you. I love you. So Dre Greenlaw right now is as high on the list as anybody could be.
I remember like when they drafted him, or like before, like they were like high on him, you know, kind of like when they're high with Tarvarius Moore. Like I just read an article, like they were just super high on Greenlaw, and
Good round, man.
he developed. You know, I mean, he's still developing, but you know, his rookie season, he came through.
To keep Quan Alexander on the sidelines, that's just that speaks volumes.
Right? Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's crazy that you said that, because my next question was, I feel like Quan Alexander doesn't get the respect he deserves. If you look from week 1 to week 7, he balled out. He didn't have a missed tackle. He was all over the field. He was the energy of the defense. And there's a lot of people that are saying, well, Quan Alexander's not going to be here next year. First of all, it's too much dead cap. Okay. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be hard to trade that contract, right? Do you feel like this team will be better off with keeping all three, Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner and Quan, or do you think we'll be better off without Quan?
No, every single team in the NFL is better with Quan Alexander. And here's Nick Bosa, I think, said it best. You know, at the end of the regular season, they asked all the different players, who do you think the team MVP is? And Nick Bosa, without hesitation, says, I think it's Quan Alexander. And this is after he was out for, 10 weeks. And they said, what? Quan Alexander? He's like, he is the attitude and the leadership of this defense. So, and he wasn't even playing, right? And that's the thing that Quan brings. He makes every single team better. Now, you have to talk about the money, okay? The money is a lot. And they just restructured his deal, which I thought was really, really weird. You cannot cut Quan Alexander this year, period, okay? You just can't. There's no feasible way. The cap structure, you're going to lose $10 million cap the following year if you cut him right now. So there's just no reason to do that. Now, after 2021, you could cut him, but you're not really saving as much as you'd like. You'd save $13 million next year. But again, you cut him this year, you lose $10 million just for cutting him. But if you cut them after 2020, then you can save some money. You can save a little bit of money if you could trade them, but nobody's going to do that. So, sorry, let me give you the correct number. If you cut him, you would in 2021, after this season, you would save $6 million. So that's kind of those are the numbers there. That is a lot for a guy that might just be playing Sam. But I know you said you're pretty high on Quan. Do you think that he earns back the Will spot?
I think that he does. Okay, so I live in Portland, right? And Quan came out here with Kendrick, as everybody knows, for 2 months, and they just trained. And they actually trained the first week he was here. They trained at a park that's like probably 10-minute walk away from my house, right? So I seen it on Instagram and I went and watched him. That guy, Quan Alexander, is fast. From side, I don't think watching him on camera really gives it. It's like a different effect when you see it in person, right? You really don't realize how fast he is sideline to sideline. And when I seen his explosiveness and knowing that he didn't have a lower body injury, he just had the pec, and then he had the bicep, right? But the way he was extending his arm They're doing push-ups, they're doing all kind of crazy shit. I just think that this year, man, he comes back with a vengeance. I really think he does. Because for the people out there who don't think that these players watch these smaller platforms and see what people are saying, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah.
These guys, they watch guys like John Chapman. They want to see what the 49er faithful are saying. So he sees people saying, oh, we got to let Quan go. He's getting too much money. This guy's going to come back and he's going to ball his ass off.
I hope so. And, I can say this. I don't know how many players watch the show, but I can tell you several moms and dads watch the show and email me religiously about their son.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. That's dope. That's
I will be honest. Like, I live in Pasadena, just outside of LA. And it's been kind of cool. Like, I've been able to kind of build a relationship with some players, family members, and whatnot, and gone out for drinks and lunch. And it's pretty cool.
Whoa!
Kind of the background to a handful of these players and kind of learn what makes them tick. And whenever you have a mom or a dad following, all these chats and all that stuff, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. They listen.
Man.
They listen.
Wow,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. John, man, we just really want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
For the people out there, man, I reached out to John weeks ago, right? And this was when the unfortunate happenings of Mr. Floyd's life happened in front of all of our eyes. And the thing that I really liked about John, he said, man, I do want to come on, but I just want to wait until things get a little bit better. And man, I really respect that about John, man. He's a family guy, and he respects humanity. And that's an important thing in today's world, man. A lot of people, they don't have that fervor to be able to fill things out and say right now isn't the right time. And I respected that, but he held his word and he took time out of his day to come on our platform, and he didn't have to do that, man. We greatly appreciate you for coming on, man, and talking some 49ers football. That's awesome. It's cool when you can follow somebody's platform and then you build something of your own and, they return the favor. You know what I'm saying? And we really appreciate that, bro.
Man, appreciate the kind words, man. You guys are doing a hell of a job. Can't wait to see what's next for you guys. And anytime y'all want somebody on, please don't hesitate to ask. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate it.
All right.
That's what's up, bro. That is what is fucking up, bro.
Man,
you know what I'm saying,
woo, that was good. Good stuff.
Yeah, we just did episode.
It's just like you go to a restaurant, the all you can eat buffet.
Right.
Boy, we went in.
Yeah, we went in.
So shout out to Mike and John. Yeah,
man, that was awesome, bro. We just did episode 9 and 10 on in one episode, man.
Yeah, double feature.
I don't know how it all came together, man.
Man, you hooked it up, man.
No, I didn't. This is what happened, y'all. If y'all want the real story, this is what happened. Bronze heard me on Rombo. He reached out to me and he said, bro, let's start a podcast. I think you have a voice and I want to be a part of it, bro. Everybody out there, if you see banners, if you see all anything that has to do with setting everything up, bro, the podcast, the banners, the pictures and all that shit, man, that's all Bronze. I don't know how to do none of that shit. I think I need to take a class on to learn so I don't always have to text him at like 11 o'clock.
Hey, no, it's all cool.
And then be like, hey, bro, a thumbnail, for tomorrow's show. And he'll be like, yeah, bro. So it definitely, you know what I'm saying? This is definitely a teamwork, man.
Yes.
So pretty soon I'm gonna have to make my way out to Houston, bro, so we could do
man.
A show where we're actually together in person.
For real. Yeah, definitely. Vice versa too, so
yeah, man. Always, you and the family be welcome to come back. You want to have somewhere to stay and all of that. Man, we just want to thank everybody. I think. What do you think about the fan, bro? What do you think about the fan giveaway?
The fan giveaway, Yeah, shoot. Yeah, we can.
You want to wait until a little bit longer, or what do you think that we should do, bro?
It really don't matter to me. If we want, we can do it, man. I guess on this, I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna do it. I mean, we get the subscribers. I wanted to see if we can do like a comment. But this is on the live stream.
Right, it's on the live stream.
And
I think
think the chat will go away when they leave a comment like who your favorite player is.
I think, bro. I think this was like a monumental episode, man.
Yeah.
I think, bro, if you just write down the names of people who commented in the live chat, and then
okay.
the last, let's say the last week of people who subscribed, I think let's write those names down, and then the next show we'll do a drawing, and you guys got to tune in, because if your name is picked, if Bronze picks your name, you're gonna have to DM him. Well, he'll DM you. You know what I'm saying? If he calls out your name, so we can get your address and get you sent out, get your stuff sent out. JD, man, we appreciate it, bro. Yeah, we appreciate that, bro.
JD.
Yeah, man.
All right, yeah. So do that. Yeah. So I'll try to get the list together of the subs, and then we'll announce it. We'll draw it on the next show.
Yep.
And that Ronnie Lot.
Yep. And then I've been working on somebody else. I don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's an ex 49er. You know what I'm saying? And I've been working on them, man. It's just, I don't know. Some of these guys, they have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I don't want to push and pry, and you know what I'm saying, and act, you know what I'm saying, like
I don't
the world if I don't get them. But we should have an update a little bit. I was saying like a day or two on what we're gonna do and what the next day will be, for the next show.
Yes. All right, cool.
All right, man. So, man, shout out to everybody out there. We appreciate everybody who support the Niners All Day family, and we'll be hollering at y'all later this week, man.
All right, we out. Peace.
Peace.